ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, you, Louie T? Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Doubleheader for the second consecutive week. First game featured the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the only matchup featuring two undefeated teams coming into Week 3's contest. And the nightcap featured a struggling Cincinnati Bengals team at home with the Joe Burrow injury that really left Bengals fans wondering would he play or not, and really needing him to play in a situation where you can't afford to fall to 0-3. They were 0-2 last year, rallied to win that division. It's a little bit different circumstances. I think the division is a little bit better this year. At least the bottom half of it is. Cleveland is no pushover. You've already lost to them. And the Steelers, I think, is a better team this year as well. You lost to them last year in week 1 anyway. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not. But as a whole, this was one they had to get. They were taking on a Rams team that I think tonight's performance is more along the lines of what we thought the Rams were going to be when the season started. They surprised everyone in week 1. They followed that up with a respectable performance against the 49ers in week 2. So we were thinking maybe they're a little bit better than we thought. And then I thought they came crashing back to earth tonight, even though it wasn't a poor performance per se. But it looked like the team that we thought we were going to get this season coming in. Now, they're still going to get Cooper Kupp back here, and you add that into what they're doing with Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell, and maybe they're going to be a better football team. I doubt it. We'll see. But anyway, let's start with the first game of the night. Eagles get the win 25-11 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game went pretty much to script. I thought there was a chance that the Eagles would be a little bit cleaner. I thought they might, score over 30 for the first time this season. Or they scored 34 last week. So I thought they would duplicate that performance offensively. I didn't think there was much that the Bucs had to offer offensively. If the Bucs were going to win this game, they would have to create turnovers, and they did. They forced 2 Jalen Hurts interceptions, and they would have to not turn it over themselves. We'll get to the Bucs a little bit later on. But as far as a defensive performance was concerned, this was the performance I was looking for from Philadelphia earlier in the season against, say, New England, not necessarily Minnesota. But this was a dominant performance. And this is the defense that scares me. What I saw tonight is what scares me as a fan in the division, knowing that I have to face this team twice. Nothing about their offense I saw tonight, or really for the entire season, worries me. And I saw a lot of the same issues that I've seen in the first 2 weeks with that offense again tonight. It's lopsided. If you can stop the run, you're going to have a chance to beat Philadelphia. But good luck stopping the run because their offensive line is so good. They have that dual threat ability with Jalen Hurts. You have to worry about him as a runner. And so there's a lot that goes into that run game and stopping it. Now they've got a 2-headed monster with Gainwell and DeAndre Swift. So there's just so many different things that they can come at you with. But I'm not worried about their rushing attack, nor their offense for that matter. It's the defense, and they showed off tonight. We were in the fourth quarter, and the Bucs had 100 yards of total offense. 100 yards of total offense. That's what the Bucs had through 3 quarters of football. I mean, it was dominant. They couldn't run the football. I'm looking at the 2 Georgia interior defensive linemen, and I'm saying, oh, my God, these guys are monsters in here. Like, literally, they look like monsters, right? The play that Jalen Carter makes, are you kidding me? Like, I just wish one time a player on my team would aggressively look to punch the football out. He wasn't looking to just come from the backside of the play, and hustle to mollywop somebody, which is what 97% of defensive tackles would have been looking to do at that point. Hey, I ran this far. I'm going to crush this guy. He had the presence of mind to say, not only am I going to mollywop this dude, I'm also going to punch this bitch out simultaneously. I mean, that is as good as it gets, right? So they're stopping the run. They're applying pressure on Baker Mayfield. I don't love their secondary, though. This Job guy looks like a Jolly Rancher. Yum, yum, eat him up. Yum, yum, eat him up. However, I think you can expose them on the back end. But if you can't run the football and you find yourself in 3rd and long, that in there lies the problem, right? And that's where the Bucs found themselves too often tonight was They couldn't establish anything on first and second down. They found themselves in third and long. And then that rush got to Baker Mayfield, got him off of his spot. I thought Mike Evans had a couple of opportunities early in the game to really affect change and didn't take advantage of some opportunities. But all in all, the defense was the catalyst that drove the vehicle tonight. And that was an impressive performance by the Eagles defense. Offensively, they ran the shit out of the football for the second consecutive week. I mean, I really love what they do, but what the hell kind of defense was Tampa playing? Is that a 3-4? I don't know what the hell that was, but the lanes that I saw tonight, I'm like, that looks like some JV football shit. I mean, I don't even know what the Bucs called themselves doing tonight against that Eagles rush attack. I don't, if they were concerned about Hurts as a passer, Hurts as a runner, the RPO. I don't know what they were doing, but they had no chance to stop the run when you got your linebackers 7 yards off the ball and you only got 3 guys down on the defensive line. I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish against their rush attack doing that, and the Eagles exploited it all night long. All night long, all night, all night long, all night. And I was at one point I was saying, is Gainwell going to get a buck too? Because they took DeAndre Swift out of the game like early stages of the fourth and said, hey, we're going to let Kenneth finish this thing on out. And DeAndre could have had a 2-piece tonight if he wanted. What did he end up with? He was on the sideline watching Kenneth Gainwell get his yards. He probably was like, shit, they did the right thing. You want to keep this thing a two-headed monster? DeAndre Swift will injure a hamstring on your ass real quick, real effing quick. So they did the right thing. Take his monkey ass out and live the fight next week. DeAndre Swift, 16 carries, 130 yards. If they'd have left him in, there was a run there where he tried to jump over a guy. I think Swift jumps over that dude, and it's probably a touchdown. He probably would have had 2 bills tonight. Gainwell, 14 for 43, so not as impressive for him, but still 40 carries for 201 yards, 5 a pop for that Eagles rushing attack, and of course the Hurts touchdown. Can we agree on something? They got to get that. They almost made me drop an F-bomb. They got to get that goddamn mush push, whatever the hell they call that shit. They got to get that shit out of the game. That's some bullshit. All right. I thought we were done with it after last year. That shit is borderline cheating. Get that shit out of this ain't effing rugby. Get that shit out of the goddamn game. All right. I've been a big detractor of that shit since my Notre Dame Fighting Irish lost to the goddamn USC Trojans. That Reginald Bush, Matt Leinart, Dwayne Jarrett group, when they had that same stupid ass push against us, and that shit was illegal then. Get that shit out of the goddamn game. Anyway, it was impressive. Even though the numbers, they did what they had to do to win the football game. They can't stop the run. Why am I going to stop running the football? Yep, Hurts threw 2 picks. I don't love it, but that's not their strong suit. If we're being honest with one another, that's not what they do best. What they do best is run the football, and their run sets up their pass. So if you can stop their run and make Jalen Hurts beat you, you have a chance. I'm not telling you it's going to work, but at least you have a chance. You don't have a chance if you allow them to do what they did tonight. You don't have a chance. If you allow them to run the football the way that they did tonight with the efficiency and effectiveness that they ran it with, you don't stand a chance. No matter what Hurts is doing back there, you don't stand a chance. And so the Buccaneers, they didn't do enough defensively to affect change on the ground. And then conversely, they had their opportunities in the first half. Really in the second half, I thought the Eagles clamped down on them and really put them to sleep. But in the first half, I thought there were opportunities for them to score some points, and they blew it. And so Eagles are 3-0. They're one of 3 3-0 teams. Them, the Miami Dolphins, and the San Francisco 49ers are your only. I didn't think we would be 3 weeks in and there would only be 3 teams left with undefeated records. And I didn't think 2 of those 3 teams, if you would have told me that, would be in the NFC with all the powerhouse teams in the AFC, Chiefs and the Bills and the Bengals. And, we can go on and on. All these teams that we thought were going to be good, like the Chargers. If you would have asked me before the season started, there's 3 3-0 teams after 3 weeks, I'd have told you 2 of them. Eagles are probably one of them. And then you'd probably have to go to the AFC for the other 2. I'm shocked that we sit here and there's only 3 teams with 3-0 records, and 2 of them reside in the NFC. But Eagles remain unbeaten, 25-11 victory over the Buccaneers. Impressive performance specifically defensively, and again on the ground, it was a masterpiece, is what it was. It's what I expect from them. They look like what I expect, which is why I think my team has the chance to beat them. But if they do the things that they did tonight, we don't do anything to stop it, we'll fall victim and prey just like the Buccaneers did tonight. If you're Tampa Bay, I'll say this. So I got a buddy of mine, massive Buccaneers fan, and he has this love-hate relationship with Mike Evans. He can't stand him, really. And he said, no, we shouldn't give his ass shit. I'm glad they didn't give him no damn contract extension. I'm like, bro, Mike's supposed to be a Buck for life. What do you mean? He's like, man, his sorry ass. And so he's always complaining that Mike Evans is inconsistent. He's spotty, and he loves Mike's uppercut. Ha, ha, ha. But you saw the good Mike, you saw the bad Mike tonight. So first possession, you got a chance. Is that ball a little high from Bake? Yeah. Is it catchable? You're damn right it is, and you have to catch it, and he didn't, right? So now you have to punt. You have a chance for a touchdown. This was the biggest play of the game to me for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With all that happened tonight, you're down 3-0, and Baker Mayfield, and look, I would love Baker to put a lot more sauce on this. This thing floated in the air what seemed like forever. However, if you're Mike Evans, you can't be backpedaling as the ball is coming to you in slow motion, okay? If he threw you a laser, yeah, you can then backpedal and adjust to it, right? This thing is like a wounded duck in the air, and you're just you got to either stop or you got to go to that football. You can't keep fading on that thing and allow the defender to get in there. If Mike Evans just stops and doesn't keep fading back, that's a touchdown. If Mike Evans takes one step up instead of fading backwards, it's a touchdown. But because he kept fading backwards, he allowed that defender who was damn near on his knees, crawling, diving, trying to get to the football, to get his hand in there and knock it free and make it incomplete. You got to have a touchdown right there. That cannot be a field goal. And it was. And going into the game, we know what the Bucs are. First of all, good job of being 2-0 coming into this game if you're Tampa. You got way more than you bargained for starting the season off. No one thought that Tampa Bay would be 2-0 at this point of the season. That said, what you've done, your formula to get to 2-0 was simple, right? Don't turn the ball over, take advantage of opportunities to score, and you've got to do the little things right. Can't have penalties that hurt you. Can't have, situations where you force a turnover and then you give it right back, right? Can't have an opportunity to score a touchdown and have to settle for a field goal. You got to be efficient in the red zone. These are the things that have gotten you to where you are right now, right? So essentially what I've explained to you is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a very small margin. It's dental floss thin, small, like razor thin margin for error. They're not good enough to have turnovers, make mistakes, leave points on the field, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Drop footballs. You got it, right? You've guessed all of that. So you know what the formula is. I actually really like Rachaad White, right? I like him a lot. I've watched him in the Bears game, and my buddy was like, man, he was better than Fournette ass last year. He should have been playing a lot more. I said, he changed to number one, and he looks like a totally different player to me. But in saying that, he had a fumble. Bake had an interception. There were some missed throws. But at the end of the day, the opportunities were there for you to make this a ball game early. And when you didn't take advantage, like even after you're down, I think it was 13-3, and you get that interception that Hurts throws you, gives you a gift. And it sucks that Devin White had a groin injury, because I'm like, bro, why are you running out of bounds right there? This needs to be a house call. I don't trust your offense to do jack diddly poo squat. You need to be trying to cut this bitch back, pick up some blocks, and see if you can't take this thing and make a resonance call. And he just trotted out of bounds like, I ain't even trying to open up with this groin that I got going on right now. Okay, fine. That's what's up. 2 plays later, you turn the bitch back over, and now the Eagles go get points. That's a huge momentum swing in the game, because it went from, if I'm not mistaken at that time, it went from 10-3, I think it was, to 13-3. And then the Eagles get the touchdown, I think, to start the second half, if I'm not mistaken, to make it 20-3. And at that point, it's game, set, match. You're not coming back from that deficit. and then you get the pick again later on, and you get the safety. And so we already saw what this was, right? You made too many mistakes. First of all, I hate you can't run the football. You're not a good rushing offense. I hate the fact that you thought you could just put an extra offensive lineman in the game and that you're going to be able to run the ball out of the end zone. I hate that. I thought you would have brought that extra lineman in to go max protect and take a shot, or go bootleg and then sneak a tight end into the flats and throw a 2-yard pass and get a gain of 4 just to get you off of the goal line. I did not think you were going to be stupid enough to run the football against this Eagles front that has been dominating you all night and think you're going to get out of the end zone. But you got what you deserve. I've always said one thing about the NFL that I love is generally you get what you deserve. That was a dumb decision, and you got what you deserve. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So you drop a touchdown, you drop a pass on 3rd down, you throw a bad interception that leads to points, you get an interception and give it right back on a fumble. You self-destructed, couldn't stop the run. Hurts made an incredible throw on the touchdown to Zacchaeus, where he was getting. I swore that was a holding penalty on Greg Gaines, who ended up hitting Hurts. That left tackle, I want to say it was Jordan Mailata, gave him an extra second. You should see how he had to break away from him because he was being held and no call. I thought the Eagles got away with a couple of no calls that benefited them throughout the night, but that's no here and there. That's the NFL. You know, they made plays. The Eagles made plays. The Bucs didn't, and that was the difference in the game. Here's the thing with Tampa Bay. Let me see what your schedule looks like moving forward. This could be the beginning of the end for you. 2-0 was really good. You got the Saints next week, the Lions after that, the Falcons, the Bills. Yeah, this is about to spiral out of control more likely than not. Now, you go to New Orleans. They don't have Derek Carr more likely than not for that game. You get Jameis Winston, an old buddy of yours. You go down there and you win, and we can have a different conversation. You lose that game, and I could see you going on a 4-game loser streak, and we look up, damn, we forget a month later. Damn, they started off 2-0, didn't they? Yeah, now they 2-4, 2-5. I can see that shit happening. So we'll figure out what's going on. Next week is a big game for you because you're not going to have Derek Carr, more likely than not, across the line of scrimmage from you. Probably going to be Jameis Winston. You got to find a way to go win that football game. We'll see what happens. Anyway, the nightcap, Rams, Bengals. This game was a snooze fest, honestly. The big question coming in, was Joe Burrow going to be able to play? We found out earlier in the day he was going to give it a go. I actually was shocked at how effective he was. They threw the ball 49 times tonight. Like, that is not the recipe that you're looking for with a guy with a bum calf that you're trying to protect. But I thought the Rams could have been more aggressive. I would have come after him a lot more because the thing that they were trying to avoid was any explosive movements, which is why he was going to be primarily from the gun in this game. They weren't going to go under center because you got to explode out of the from under center. They weren't going to do that. I would have come after him a little bit more. I would have made him have to get out of that pocket, make him use that calf muscle, see if we can't get him to tweak something and get the hell out of there. But they just let him stand back there all night, and they only really rushed forward. They came with a couple of 5-man pressures, but nothing exotic. And they gave themselves a chance, did the Rams. But this was about Burrow trying to establish that connection with Jamar Chase and really all of his receivers for that matter. They really haven't had any passing game from which to speak of to start this season off. Week 1 sucked because it was in really nasty conditions. But week 2, you were expecting them to maybe get back on track at home against Baltimore, and it didn't happen. Burrow with a terrible interception at the goal line that I thought really cost them in that game. But, they really wanted to get Jamar Chase on track, and they did that tonight. What did he end up with? I think he had about 8 grabs tonight for $1 and some change. Let's see what that final tally for him ended up being on the evening. Jamar Chase, 12 for 141, and he had a big 43-yarder that really capped off his night. So that's what they set out to do, in mission accomplished. I thought Joe Mixon, although the numbers may not bear it out, let me look at Joe's numbers. I thought he was really effective tonight as well. 19 for 65. Again, that's not going to blow anybody away, but when they needed big runs, short yardage situations, that touchdown, he came up huge in the game. But this was really about the Bengals defense. Joe Burrow was really just babysitting and just making sure that he didn't do anything to cause them to lose this game. This is really about their defense. Their defense stepped up huge. They sacked Matthew Stafford. How many times? At least 6 in this game. I'm going to say 5 at a minimum. 6 is the number that I'm going with in terms of how many times Matthew Stafford. 6 sacks for Stafford on the night. They picked off Stafford twice. They were always around the ball. One of my favorite linebackers in this league, and a guy that I don't think gets enough credit for what he's able to do is Logan Wilson. He had 2 picks tonight, and you know how I feel about Mike Hilton. He tipped one of the passes on that second pick that allowed Logan Wilson to get the pick. I just love what they did 3 years ago in free agency. I think it was 3 years ago when I went out and got Mike Hilton, when they went out, signed Larry Ogunjobi, even though he's not there anymore, and they went out and signed Trey Hendrickson and Chidobe Awuzie, and they just revamped that defense, and they've been so good ever since. And Trey Hendrickson was ridiculous tonight. He had 2 sacks. The defense showed up. The young fellas that they put out on the field, they showed up as well. I saw Turner with a nice pass breakup down the field. It's a really well-coached defense. It doesn't make a ton of mistakes, although they made one late that allowed this game to look a lot closer than what it was. But the Rams had their opportunities, but this is the mark of a good defense. When you get in the red zone, the Rams were 1 of 4, I believe, in the red zone today. And that's where games are won and lost, in the red zone. Rams were 1 of 4 in this game, and that's where this game was lost by the Rams and won by the Bengals. Is the Rams got down there in the first half with regularity, and they could not finish, had to settle for field goals, and that's what kept the Bengals in the game while they were struggling offensively early in this game. So shout out to that defense. They really tonight was about the defenses in both games where the teams won. The Eagles also brought their run game with them as well. A.J. Brown had a really nice showing tonight too, but it was really about the Eagles defense in the first game, and it was about the Bengals defense in the second game as they get the win. I'm still not feeling Cincinnati right now. I'm not sure if, look, you just find a way to win. That's what the league is all about. It's a week-to-week league. Find a way to get it done, all right? We don't give a shit. 3 weeks from now, we're not going to be looking back at, they only beat the Rams by 3 points. Did you beat the Rams or not? Yes or no? Check the box. Yes? Okay. Brick in the left-hand column. That's all we care about. 19-16, get it done. You move on to next week. Who do you have next week if you're Cincinnati? Let's see if you can get hot here. You got Tennessee on the road, very winnable game. The Cardinals after that, Seahawks after that. Then it gets tough. You got the 49ers and then the Bills. But then you get the Texans and the Ravens and then the Steelers. So, this is the thing. You got to try to beat the Titans to get back to 500, right? And if you can do that, you should be able to beat the Cardinals. I'm not saying that that's a pushover game, but you should be able to beat them. Then you're over 500, and then whatever happens after that happens, right? But you got to get back to 500 to hit that reset button if you're Cincinnati. Because if you don't, and you drop a game that maybe you shouldn't drop, and you fall to 1-3, this ain't going to be last year. If you want this to be last year, where you start 0-2 and you dig yourself out of that hole and you ultimately win the division, you got to get back to 500 immediately. Win next week on the road at Tennessee, not going to be easy. Following week, you got the Cardinals on the road. Go win that game. You're over 500, and then now we can start to see what's really going on here, right? So, and you're hoping along the, doing that, Joe doesn't retweak the calf. That's your hope, right? But again, we will see. But you got it done tonight. Joe comes out no worse for the wear. You're 1-2. You're off the schneid. Now you can exhale a bit. Get Jamar Chase going. Everything feels right in the world if you're Cincinnati. You go to the Rams side of things, and it's an opportunity missed. I mean, what else is there to say? You had every opportunity to win this game, and you just said, no, I'm good. Look, I'm going to give you the dub because you can do more with it than I can. I could be 2-1, and I'm still not doing shit this year. Why should I take a win from a team that may actually be able to take this dub and do something with it? That would be selfish on my part. So why would I do that? So I'm not going to do that. You take this win, get your first one of the season, and go do good with it, man, because I can't do shit with it. That's what it felt like. Because you get down there 3 times, and you come away with 3 field goals? Are you kidding me? When all season long up until this point, you've been bludgeoning teams to death with the run game in the red zone. I remember watching the game last week against the 49ers and watching y'all assault them in the first half. It was 17 and a half, and you're running it down their throats in the first half in the red zone. I remember week 1, how surprised I was watching y'all kill the Seattle Seahawks in the red zone. A beautiful little toss to Cam Akers on a 4th down. I'm like, these boys are running this shit. And then we get to tonight, and you scared to run the football in the red zone? You're going to just give it to 9 every time and say, hey, go find us a touchdown? That's bullshit. Why get away from what has made you a team that has been much more competitive than we thought you were going to be coming into the season? I just don't understand it. Sometimes I feel like coaches outsmart themselves when they get into the red zone. It is the most important area of the field, and sometimes I think coaches overthink the damn process. It's sickening watching what they did in the red zone. I picked them tonight, so it really pissed me off because I lost a game that I felt like I had no business losing. Just execute in the red zone. Run the football. Do the shit you've been doing. Make them stop it. And I thought that Tutu Atwell play was a touchdown as well. I don't think there was indisputable evidence, irrefutable, that he stepped out of bounds. You called it a touchdown on the field. You can't tell me with 100% certainty that that heel hit out of bounds. Did you see a definitive angle that said, yeah, that heel hit out of bounds? I didn't. I saw that those pellets come up. That shit came up from the front, the front part of his foot, not the back. I thought that was a bad overturn there by New York. I need indisputable evidence that says he stepped out of bounds there to take that touchdown from me. But even with that said, if you're the Rams, you got to score a touchdown. You got to score a touchdown. What are we doing here? That's where the game was lost tonight. Not the 2 interceptions that Matthew Stafford threw, not the 6 sacks that he took, but the inability to punch the football into the end zone. They scored 1 touchdown in the red zone on those first 3 trips. They probably win this game. Just needed 1. On a night where the Bengals were struggling to score, you score a touchdown early. Imagine if this score, instead of it being, I think it was 6-3 at one point, imagine it being 10-3 and the angst that crowd would have felt being down 10-3 at home to the Rams, which is why that Tutu Atwell touchdown that they took back was huge. Because if they jump on top of them 7-0, I think at that time it would have been 7-0. Let me check and see. Would it have been 7-3 or would it have been 7-0? I feel like it would have been 7-0. If they would have, it would have been 7-0. And then it was 6-3 with a Maher field goal from 23 yards out. Again, if you're kicking a 23-yard field goal, it means you got down inside the 10-yard line and couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Again, you're killing me, Smalls. But it was 6-3. It would have been 7-0 and then 10-3. You know how much pressure they would have felt? Down 7-0 at home, down 10-3 in the second quarter, midway through the second, late stages of the second, that's still down 10-3. You know how much pressure they would have felt? Maybe you get Joe to press and make a mistake, but he had never felt the pressure of the game. It's called game pressure. He never truly felt it because you never ran away with this game when you had opportunities to do it. It sucks because everybody counted you out this season and said you're not going to be good, and you had an opportunity to win this game and to really gain confidence and put yourself in a position to really stick that middle finger up at everybody that said, hey, the Rams are going to stink this year. You're trending in that direction after this loss. Puka Nacua, who was, a hell of a story coming into this game. 5 catches. It's crazy that I say only 5 catches when the man had like 25 catches coming into this game. So to only have 5 catches after, I think 14 in week 1, some craziness, 11 in week 2, whatever it was. This dude has been putting in work. Most catches in NFL history through 2 weeks, now 3 weeks. But, had the big catch that set up the touchdown at the very end, 5 for 72 for him in this game. Let's see who the Rams have coming up. At the Colts, then you're home for the Eagles. Then you got the Rams at home, Steelers. I mean, this schedule isn't impossible, but you needed to win tonight. You really did. because the Colts, they playing with confidence now. You think you're just going to stroll into Indy and win? Good luck, right? You may beat them, but those boys are playing with confidence now. Then the Eagles at home, you're probably not going to win that game. You might have Cooper Kupp back for that game, though, but you're probably not going to win that game. And then, after that, Cardinals, that's family business. We'll see what happens there. Steelers, Cowboys, Packers, et cetera, et cetera. So this was a missed opportunity. You had a chance to get to 2-1, really find yourself, because all you were looking to do, if we could be 2-2, and you still have a chance to do that, by the way, going to Indy. If we can be 2-2 by the time we can get Cooper Kupp back off a pup list, I feel damn good about that. You could have been 3-1 though. If you beat the Colts next week, you got to be kicking yourself because you could have been 3-1 instead of 2-2. It's a massive difference, by the way. But anyway, I digress. Missed opportunity for the Los Angeles Rams as the Bengals get their first win of the season, 19-16. So let's get to the comment section, see what you guys are talking about. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy JP writes, these games were so atrocious, not going to lie. They weren't that bad. The nightcapper wasn't super exciting, but it's what these two teams had to do to try to win this game, specifically the Cincinnati Bengals. They needed this kind of performance, right? Don't turn it over. Play sound football. They did have the one pick. That was an incredible pick by Ahkello Witherspoon. What the F, bro? Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Are you effing with me or are you serious? Like, he dives over the back of T. Higgins, reaches in the cookie jar with one hand, snatches that bitch away with one arm, rolls over, ball never touches the ground, and has a pick? Are you kidding me? That right there, at that time, it saved the game because they were already in field goal range. And a field goal at that point, they were going for a touchdown, to be honest. If T. Higgins catches that slant, that's 1st and 10 from about the 12-yard line or whatever it was. But even if he doesn't catch it, it's just incomplete. They're already in field goal range for McPherson. And you go up 19-9, we already see where this is going for the Rams. So to keep it at 16-9, give you a chance. And Stafford was letting them go, deep. He wasn't hitting shit, but he was giving them chances down the field. They're one play away from tying this thing up. That was a huge play in the game at the time. It wasn't, these games weren't atrocious. We saw, a good football team in the Eagles exert their dominance and will over the Buccaneers. Buccaneers had chances to keep it close and give themselves a chance late. They just didn't take advantage of those opportunities early. And then in the second game, Rams, same thing. Had a chance early to maybe give themselves a little bit of a cushion and some breathing room and really put some game pressure on Cincinnati. Failed to do that with their inefficiency in the red zone. And then the Bengals got that home field advantage, started getting to Stafford, forced some turnovers. Next thing you know, they're up in the game. And now Stafford has to deal with not only that defense, but the crowd getting involved. And it proved to be too much. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, not looking forward to facing the Dirty Birds in Philly. And I'll be there too. Only way we have a chance is to use the same game plan from last year. I'm not going to lie to you. I was looking forward to seeing if I could get a third consecutive game of Philly's defense looking suspect. That is not what I was looking for tonight. That is not what I was looking for. I'm not scared at all, but I am concerned about their defensive front. I can tell you this much right now with 100% certainty. They haven't seen a defense like ours all season long. I can assure you of that. Not one of those teams that they played this year has what we have on defense. I'll take my defense over all three of the defenses that they faced this season. And I can also assure you of this. We're going to shut that run shit down. I can assure you of that. This DeAndre Swift show that's been going on, and it's a hell of a show. High ratings, incredible production. Everything about it has been top notch. We shutting that shit down. Okay, I can assure you that they'll have to push that shit off till next week and get back to their regularly scheduled programming next week. Now, defensively, that line against our line and the way we're playing, if we don't scheme that shit up or we don't find a way to run the football against them, it could be a repeat of last year, the first time we played them. That's what I'm concerned about. Because even in that first game when we played them, our defense stopped their offense. They scored 24 points in one quarter. And it was a lot of big plays that we gave up. It wasn't like they were just methodically driving this shit. They got big plays on our ass. And they were rolling the dice and they didn't give a damn in that second quarter. They didn't do shit else the rest of the game. I know our defense can handle their offense. I'm not concerned. It's the defense that I'm worried about. And what they did to us last year is the exact same thing they can do to us this year if we keep doing the shit we did the first 3 weeks of the season. And that's the shit that has me concerned. After watching them tonight, I was hoping to see the same shit I saw against Minnesota. Like, oh yeah, Kirk had, if they don't fumble and turn it over and do all the dumb shit, they would have beat Philadelphia last week. I was looking for that defense. I didn't see that defense tonight. I did see some weaknesses in that secondary, though. Give me Josh Jobe. Let me get a lot of Josh Jobe in the slot, not wide. Let me see some of Josh Jobe. I do like that matchup quite a bit. But we got to get to that. We got to be in situations where we can take advantage of that. We got to protect up front to be able to take advantage of that. I hope EB understands what he has to do. Because if he doesn't, it could be trouble. It could be trouble. Mike Jenk, thank you for this being a member of the MOBB for 11 months. My guy Mike Jenk writes, Big Lou, Mike. He said, Big Lou, don't you run from me. I'm not going to. You know where to find me, Mike. You know where to find me, man. You know what it is. Looking for revenge. Family business. You know what it is. Hey, I am looking to keep the party going, man. It's been nice being able to say, hey, Jalen Hurts is 20-1 in his last 21 starts. But you know where he got that one loss from? Aha! That's been fun. I want to make it 2. All right. You know what's better than 1? 2. So I feel like this is a really good spot. We have nothing to lose. Nobody thinks we're gonna win this game. Similar to the one last year in Philly. I feel good about the spot we're in. Better than I did last year this time when we were going up against you in week 4. So, or I think it was week 3 last year, actually, not week 4. But I feel a lot better. We were 1-1 last year going into that game, and then you destroyed Carson Wentz and his confidence. You can't shake this young fella's confidence. I hope we do a better job of protecting them than we have the first 3 weeks, though. Or it could get ugly fast, as I've already said tonight. So let's see. HTTR Carson says, still confident we are beating the Eagles after tonight? Yeah, that hasn't changed. They didn't do anything that I didn't think they were capable of. I was hoping to see them still struggling defensively against a Bucs offense that isn't great, but they know who they are and they're going to try to go out and execute. And I thought the Bucs had opportunities, right? They had their fair share of opportunities against this Eagles defense, and they didn't take advantage, right? But they didn't show me anything new that I didn't know they were capable of. Everything we saw tonight, that's what we've seen the first, 2 weeks of the season, stands for a dominant performance defensively. We hadn't seen that yet. But I think that's a byproduct of the competition that they were facing, to be honest with you. But they made that competition look inferior. So gotta give them credit. But yeah, nothing that I saw tonight made me say, oh my God, how are we going to deal with that? They were way more dominant last year. Way more dominant last year. Remember when we went and played them week 3, they were coming off of destroying the Vikings on a Monday night in front of everybody and picked Kirk Cousins off like 3 or 4 times. That's not what they did tonight. But yeah, I know what they're capable of. And if we play like we played against Buffalo, they will do what Buffalo did to us. I have no doubts about that. But if we do the things that I know we're capable of, it's going to be a game that we'll have a chance to win. There's no scenario in which we blow the Eagles out. Either we're going to win close, or we're going to lose close, or we're going to get our asses whooped. There's only 3 outcomes in this game. All right. Comfortable win for the Eagles, close win for the Eagles, close win for the Commanders. There's no other outcome or tie, but that's not going to happen. But there's no scenario in which we go in there and we dominate these boys and we win going away. Okay, so I already know what this is. I already know what this is. Let's see. I think that's it. I don't see really any more comments. Kevin the PRF writes, that play totally robs all of the drama out of third and fourth and short. The NFL wants good TV. The more teams use it, the more it's guaranteed to be an illegal formation in no time. Hey, I just want the shit gone. And it's not just because the Eagles are doing it. I could give a shit if it was the Eagles. It could have been the damn Kansas City Chiefs. It could have been the Indianapolis Colts. Could have been the Houston Texans. Could have been Chicago Bears. That play is terrible for the NFL. It's terrible. Right? Like, especially when you got a line like the Eagles have, and then, like they said, Jalen Hurts squats a small house. How are you going to stop that? And especially if they're doing it on third down, because if they don't get it, guess what they're going to do on fourth down? Like, I was shocked at the end of the game. It was a third down and short, and they were in gun, and Nick Sirianni's like, what the hell are you guys doing? Time out, man. Time out. What are you guys doing? If you don't run the goddamn mush push, what are y'all doing? Get your ass out there and get in that goddamn quarterback sneak formation and push his ass for this first down. Hell's wrong with y'all? Hurts came out there, barked out a couple of false cadences. They snapped the bitch, caught him off guard, and did the shit. Got the first down. Like, what are y'all doing? If I'm the Eagles, I'm doing that shit it might be 3rd and 2, and I'm doing that shit. Because I know I'm getting a yard. And then on 4th and 1, I'm going to do this shit again. Who going to stop it? Who going to stop it? Let's see. I think that was the last comment. Here we go. Got one here. Comasel Brown. Right. I got to thinking about what you said yesterday about a LB should have been spying because they don't do anything else. So why not let Jamin and Gibby go for some solid offensive linemen? No, what solid offensive lineman are you going to find 4 weeks into the season? Who's on the street right now that you just go and sign? Like, what are you talking about? If these guys could play, they would be on an NFL roster right now. You're not getting anybody quality that you can just come in. And you think you're just going to pick up the offense like that and just insert them? Hey, man, this ain't pickup football. We ain't playing in the street. This ain't two-hand touch. You're just going to cut two dudes that have been with you all year long, that know the scheme and the system. And, and again, AG is on the offensive side of football, so it has nothing to do with, anything that you just referenced. And then Jamin Davis has been playing really well this year. So that doesn't even make any sense. That don't make any sense at all. Let's see. Frank Brown, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Frank Brown writes, what's up, Lou? What's up, Frank? Man, we got to stop Swift. Yeah, we do. That's got, to me, stopping the run game as a whole, that includes Hurts, Swift, and Gainwell. We got to stop the run game. When you don't do that, we don't stand a chance. Because then they can do whatever the hell they want to do. Then they can go play action fake. Then the read options and the run pass options, the RPOs, all that shit starts to work even better. You have to stop their run game first. I've always said this, and this will never change for me. No matter what the hell they're doing, it'll never change. Make Jalen Hurts beat you as a passer. I'll take my chances with that 10 times out of 10. If he beats me, I'll take my cap. But no way in hell am I going to allow him to rely on the run game as a crutch, and he just gets to be a passenger and makes, the occasional pass here and there. Nah, F that. If he beats me with his arm like he did last year in week 3, I'll take my cap. You got me, bro. I'll see you next time. But what I want to do is what we did in the second game, and that's, make him beat us as a passer, and he didn't the second time. He didn't. And that's what you got to do. But we can't let them run the ball. They didn't run it on us at all last year, the first game or the second game. And I expect us to do that again this game. Nothing's changed. He says, protect Sam better, get after Hurts, and stop that QB formation at the goal line. Hashtag take back command. Like they said, the only way to defend that play is to not let them get in a situation where they could use it. And again, it's tough. The Eagles are a really good football team. But, yeah, it starts with stopping that run game. And obviously, to me, priority number one on offense is protect Sam. And you can do that in a multitude of ways. It doesn't have to just be on the offensive line. The onus doesn't have to be just on you can run the football. We talked about this already. Screen game, short passing game. There are a multitude of ways. Chip, max protect. There are a multitude of ways that you can protect Sam Howell, right? Doesn't just have to be O-line block better. Okay. But in saying that, Sam's got to make smarter decisions. He's got to make faster decisions. He's got to, he's got to do the thing that he's supposed to do. And we'll see if he does that. I'm looking for a bounce back. I said this already. I said this earlier today on CNN. The best thing that could have happened for us going into this game was what just happened. You hate losing. You don't want to lose. You don't want to get your ass kicked like we just did. But if there was ever a time for it to happen, you want it to happen early. And you want it to happen when you're going into a game like this against a divisional foe, because it's going to heighten your focus. If there was a chance for us to be lackadaisical, thinking our shit don't stink, it would have been if we beat Buffalo, we would have waltzed into Philly thinking, oh, they ain't got shit for us. And then we might have got our asses humbled. Well, we got our asses humbled the week before. So now the focus is laser-like going into this game against Philadelphia. You can't play any worse than we played on the offensive side of the football. This is the thing that everybody's, kind of missing because it's 37-3. And if they didn't watch the game, they wouldn't know this. Our defense really played well. And last time I checked, the Eagles don't have Josh Allen, which is what I've been saying, right? Like, they got 16 because they had Josh Allen. You take Josh Allen out of the mix, they don't even have 16 points on the scoreboard in that game against us. So I feel really good about our opportunity and what's in front of us, but we got to take advantage and we got to make plays and we got to do the smart things. We got to take care of the football. We got to take care of our quarterback. We got to stop the run. These are all things we're capable of, by the way. This isn't like last year where we literally needed Philadelphia's help. Like, we don't need help anymore to beat you. Last year, we needed help. I don't need your help. I just need to do the things that I can do, and that's enough to win. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP writes, just a friendly reminder, Broncos versus Bears. And remember, I need to hear from you one more time before that game because I got to give you instructions. You know what the instructions are, but I need to make sure I personally tell you. I don't want to tell you too far ahead of time. All right? So you know what you got. Even if I don't actually talk to you in one of these chats, right? Leave it down in the comment section. Hey, Lou, I'm going to the game. That's all you got to say. And you know what I'm going to respond. So you know what you got to do. All right? So make sure we link, JP. Says, just a friendly reminder, Broncos versus Bears. Week 4 may be the worst game in the 154-year history of football. Almost feel bad for both franchises. No, don't feel bad for both franchises. Somebody's going to get a win. The NFL, I've always said this about the NFL. When they think you're going to stink, they usually put two bad teams against each other early. Somebody's got to get a win, bro. I don't want both of y'all going in week 8, 0-7. Somebody got to get off the schneid. They're giving them a break. Somebody's got to win. It's going to be Denver. Just like I talked about with us getting our ass kicked, they're so embarrassed right now. Sean Payton's making this whole week live in hell for them. Those boys will be ready. They're going to open up a can of whoop ass on the Bears, more likely than not. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. Where did we leave off at? Right here. Here we go. Niners fan says, by the way, did you see what my guy D'Amico is doing in Houston? They're going to be sneaky good this year. CJ Stroud is that guy. Looks way better than Bryce. so far looks way better than Bryce Young. That's not hard to do. What talent does Bryce Young have in Carolina? That's the problem, right? CJ Stroud actually they had some guys last year with some talent. The Michigan receiver, they drafted Tank Dell. You know, they have stuff, right? They got the receiver from Alabama who didn't play because of cancer. He's back this year. They got stuff. They're not void of talent. So he's got more guys around him that can help him succeed. And don't forget, Houston has been spending draft capital and financial resources on that offensive line in front of him as well. You know, whether it's Laramie Tunzel or and I know one of their guys is out right now with an injury, but he'll be back eventually. They've spent resources on that offensive line. So he's in a much better position to be successful faster. I thought Carolina's defense would be better than Houston's. And after the first 2 weeks, I felt confident about that. Then seeing what they did to Jacksonville, and again, that's family business. So you don't get carried away. Okay. But Bryce is going to struggle because there isn't anybody for him to get the football to. And I haven't been blown away by Houston's defense in the first 3 weeks of the season. I thought this was the first performance defensively that I can get behind and say, hey, this is what I was looking for. So let's see if they can package that up, do it again. I think they have a really solid football team coming into their building. I want to say it's the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure the Steelers are going to Houston in week number 3. Let's or week 4, excuse me. Let me see. Yeah, Steelers are going into Houston. That's going to be an interesting game because you can get to Kenny Pickett. They can't run the football. You can stop the run and force Kenny Pickett to beat you. It's going to be really interesting stuff. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I digress. Comacel Brown says, was talking trade, not just releasing or trade deadline over, LOL. Getting these linemen. Trade deadline isn't over until I think the end of October, but you're not getting anything for either one of those dudes. And you're not going to get an offensive lineman. And again, that offensive lineman that you get, it's not going to be just as simple as plug and play. I mean, you got to learn an entire scheme. It's not ideal to trade for an offensive lineman in season. Generally, if you're trading for someone, it's at a position where you can just plug and play them, right? Edge rusher, corner, wide receiver. These are the types of positions you trade for because it's not hard to integrate those positions into a scheme. All right. Even if you don't know what the hell's going on, they just tell you, hey, you got a 7 route on this play. You come in the huddle, hey, run a post, at 15 yards. That's not hard to do, right? So it's hard to trade for an offensive lineman, in season, but I digress. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on our second and final Monday night doubleheader, I believe it is. I think at the end of the season, they can flex Monday night games, and there may be another pocket where there are, I think that you'll start getting like Saturday games and things of that nature. I don't think you're going to get any more doubleheaders. So I think this is it for the doubleheaders. Which I'm not mad at. I don't necessarily love the 2 games on. I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I can do without it. So Eagles get the win in the first game, 25-11. 3-0 are the Eagles. They sit atop the NFC East with the rest of the division losing collectively in week number 3. They're the only team in the division that still remains undefeated at 3-0. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers suffer their first defeat of the season. They are now tied atop the NFC South with the Atlanta Falcons. Who would have guessed that through 3 weeks of football, that the Falcons and the Bucs would be your division leaders after 3 weeks at 2-1. Meanwhile, in the nightcap, Cincinnati Bengals get their first dub of the season, 19-16 over the Los Angeles Rams. Joe Burrow, who was questionable all week with that calf strain that he suffered in the preseason, or rather training camp, did play. He threw it 49 times. Didn't come out of this game any worse for wear. and led his team to a 19-16 victory. But it really was all about the Bengals' stingy defense. 6 sacks of Matthew Stafford, 2 picks of Matthew Stafford, and held that Rams offense that had been extremely efficient early in the season in the red zone to 1 of 4, getting it done 19-16. And as I mentioned, getting that first win of the season. Rams also dropped to 1-2 on the season, missed a golden opportunity to go to 2-1 and keep within striking distance of the 3-0 San Francisco 49ers. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Monday Night Football Overtime. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys. Tomorrow, we'll have a Louie T Network podcast. I will also be live for Commanders Nightly News tomorrow as we gear up for the Eagles. We will continue to lick our wounds from the Bills game. We usually don't turn the page until Wednesday, but because the Super Friends will be meeting on Wednesday night, got to alter the schedule this week. So I will be seeing you guys tomorrow night. And the rest of you, I'll see you on Wednesday. NFC East Super Friends will unite. Until then, you guys have a good one. God bless and good night.